What's up? I'm Ayla.
I'm Beth Ann.
This is Let's Talk BL, a Boys Love podcast.
Ayla was being lazy and decided to just play our YouTube video intro so that we could hear the song because she puts it on, and then was hearing ourselves intro ourselves. Didn't think that was true.
I thought it was fantastic.
Welcome back
I thought
to the
it was
podcast.
so cute.
It's Sunday, Series Sunday, the day of the week we talk all about one series and one series only, chock full of spoilers. So, did we even do the rest of our intro? The welcome to Let's Talk BL? Did we?
Yeah.
You sure about that?
I said it.
Okay. Y'all, this has been a journey for this show.
It has been a journey for this show, and we'll get into why. But if you follow us on TikTok, or if you found us on TikTok, you know why, and you know what's coming. And
Yeah.
I will say, I am here. I take it all back.
Yeah.
I take every word back. I will not give the whatever 1,000 views back, though.
I feel like people did this show a disservice by speaking too soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
The show we're talking about today is, of course, Secret Crush on You.
Oh, goodness. Let's get to the nuts and bolts before we really get into it, because we're gonna get into it.
Oh, we're getting into it, y'all.
Came out just this year.
Just this year.
Finished yesterday.
2022.
On YouTube.
Bless. Thank you, Idol Factory, for keeping it accessible.
Yes. Speaking of Idol Factory, our dear sweet saint, Suppapong, CEO extraordinaire,
yes.
BL boy of all BL boys.
Yes.
Produced this BL.
Sure did. He's also in this BL.
I mean, in the
for
most
a hot minute.
Incredible ways.
He's very smart about it. We'll talk about it, though,
Yeah.
whenever we talk about the show.
It stars Billy as Nia, Sang as To. Y'all, surprise. As Cow Jiao or Jiao.
Jiao.
Hang
though.
Oh, as Sky.
Yes.
Or Sky.
Sakai.
Yes.
Sakai.
I love that.
I love it too.
Synopsis.
Okay,
You got a long one.
synopsis time. It's a long one this week.
I copy and paste. I don't ever read, so I am also surprised because it's going to be fun.
Okay. Discover the secret of a nerdy young man who falls in love with a third-year senior. Because his dream is so far from reach, observing is the only thing he could do. Cow Jiao told me I was falling in love. Som said I was seriously sick. Daisy said I was gay.
Accurate. That's amazing. This is only the first paragraph of this 3-paragraph synopsis. Continue. Read the last line. The chaos that is the series Sunday is representative of the show. Do I need to finish this?
It's fine. I can do it. Okay. But I think I'm a completely novice stalker.
Yes, there it is. I mean, the source material was called something. It was stalker.
It goes on. But what happens when one auspicious day the world devises an opportunity for To to make himself known to Nia, the person he has been in love with for a long time? The unforeseen opportunity produces head-spinning chaos for To and the gang. Whether To keeps his love a secret, that must be hidden, or acts with daring and recklessness, the heart is not up to it, and the opportunity is not easy to find. Will this work, or will it fail? What will a beginner stalker do with his love?
What will a beginner stalker do with his love?
I'm so sorry. That one got me. I also try not to read them before I have to do it in the voice because
Jay-Z said I was gay.
And for some reason that just got me. I don't know why.
I need shirts made that says, but Jay-Z said I was gay.
Yeah. I don't know why that got me.
Though.
I think because she is such a fun character. And truly, she's never wrong in this show.
No.
And so, yeah. Oh, that got me.
Okay, so when we were introduced to this show,
Yes.
I think like everybody was excited because like Saint was his
was
first
Saint.
series he was producing. Everybody was really excited about Billy Singh. Like it had a lot of hype, and then it came out and it was, from all understanding, really campy when it first started. It had a ton of cringe.
Cringe is the word I heard over and over again. Before I could even,
Yeah.
honestly, before I even got a chance to start it, I feel like it got kind of ruined for me because
Yeah.
all I heard from anybody, because we get a ton of
You just have to push
recommendations,
through.
they're like, oh, you have to try really hard to watch this show.
Yeah.
And it's so cringy. I have to
Right.
pause every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And so before I even had a chance to start it, I like didn't want to.
And I have some PTSD from Gen Y season 2. So I'm not trying to watch shows anymore.
Right.
Like I want to enjoy what show I'm watching.
Well, that was my question. I was like, why? And I asked people this. So we have a couple of listeners that I just like really trust.
Mhm.
And I remember asking, so Keisha was the first person who was like, you guys should watch this. And I remember asking Keisha, like we were on IG Live, and I was like, and she mentioned that she had like tried to watch it a few times before it really stuck.
Yeah.
And I literally remember asking her and being like, why do you want to watch a show that you have to try hard at? Like,
Right.
isn't it supposed to be fun?
Yeah.
And she was like, she was like, I don't know, I can't explain it to you. And that was the answer I kept getting from everyone.
Right.
Is like, I can't explain to you why I like it, but I do. And I was like, okay, well then maybe you don't really like it. Was just always my response because it didn't make sense to me.
Mhm.
And then I started watching it. And then I gave in. One day I got it in my brain that I was like, you know what? Keisha, Renee, I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it. And you know what? I started it before you did. You were very anti. You were like, oh, we lost another one to Secret Crush on You.
I know.
And you were like, I'm not going to watch it. And I was like, no, I want you to watch it because I want to do a series Sunday on it.
Yeah.
And you were like, well, but why? Like, why do you like it? And I was like, listen, I can't explain it to you.
Classic.
So I get it. Like, I immediately got it once, like, literally, like, first episode, I was like, I'm hate watching this, but I'm also not hate watching it at all. I love
Here's the thing. This show had character development just like a person has character development.
Yeah.
Because it's similar, and I akin this to Lovely Writer. When you start Lovely Writer, it has the same, like, heavy tropes, heavy sound effects. Like it's very dramatic in the first couple of episodes until you actually get into the story and the heart of it, right? Like they have to set the foundation. And sometimes when you set the foundation, you either have these shows that go really heavy on backstory, or you have shows that just try to do these like silly fun things to hook you in some way into the characters. I don't know. This show just like the first episode or two did this thing where it was like, we're gonna be as like cringy as possible to set the foundation to then have this pretty incredible character development.
But here's the thing. The cringe, I feel like the cringe isn't as bad as I was told it was. Number one. I mean, I did feel like
so many Thai shows. I feel like this is just another Thai show.
I did feel like I was kind of hate watching it in the sense that, like, honestly, anytime Toe came on that screen, I was like literally screaming, like, why are we sniffing garbage oranges? I know that is my number one beef. Me and those garbage oranges.
You started the show and we were in a group chat and you were group chatting this other person that we also that was also watching it. And I was ignoring it because I wasn't watching it yet, and
because you didn't intend to watch it.
I just saw like literally you just screaming about garbage and was like, I don't understand.
Listen, the trash thing was so frustrating for me, like because that was the level of cringe. Like that was where the cringe came from for me.
Yeah.
And it made me, unfortunately, really not like that friend group on my first watch. I will say I ended up liking this show so much, I've rewatched it now. And I genuinely really like this show. But the problem is all of the fans are like, it's so cringy. I kept having to pause. I don't actually feel that way. The only thing that was cringe to me was the whole like garbage sniffing situation where I was like, I just can't with this.
There were definitely moments I fast forwarded through Toe and Nua's story.
Oh, see, I didn't.
I did.
I even genuinely cared about Toe and Nua. Only honestly, only because of Nua at first, upon my first watch. And just like everyone else, I was in it for Sky Zhao. For sure.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as I saw Zhao's face on that screen, I was like, he is my boy.
My God.
I am so here for him. Surprise. He surprised me. What can I say?
I do love Surprise, but man, Hing has my whole heart.
He reminds me so much of Gunsmile, and you know how much I love Gunsmile. Yes. I cry over Gunsmile. I cried on this podcast over Gunsmile and in season 1.
Yes. Sky, I only cried during Sky Zhao's final scene. I thought those two were like truly the most like genuine, sweet, wholesome, like just like I just enjoyed watching them.
Right.
Their chemistry was perfect.
Their chemistry was so good.
Their characters were so solid. They are the typical playboy goes after the sweet, innocent one who's had very little experience. But the way that they did these two and the way that they developed these two characters, it felt so new and so fresh and like nothing I'd ever seen. And I was like, I want to just watch these two boys. I want to watch their story over and over and over.
Yeah. Again. They also had great character development, each of them individually and as like a couple, which is really nice. It's nice when you get to see them have this like individual character development that doesn't really rely on the other boy. I thought that was pretty masterful, and I did love that a lot.
And irony above all other ironies is that there was no overreaction to anything.
Right.
That, like any crisis.
Yeah.
Nobody truly, we didn't have an Ep11 curse. We didn't have any overreaction. When they get put online and bullied, the reactions, every single one of them had an absolutely valid reaction. When you know,
well, that was when I was worried about Nia, like, because Nia throughout this series was really solid, especially in the way that he treated Toe. Because he very much was like sort of, especially in the beginning, like maybe through like episode 6-ish, like pushing Toe to like go further, basically, right? Yeah. Like he was like, I'm giving you the opportunity.
Right.
He's like, I'm giving you the opening. All you have to do is take it.
Right.
But not in like a mean way or a teasy way, right? So like he was always of like a very solid character. Right. I will say I did my fault with him is that I felt like he didn't tell the girl to like go away soon enough. Like I feel like a lot of those problems would have been solved a lot earlier if he had just been straight with her, or like straight up with her. But I was worried. I was like, oh, like we're gonna get hit like the miss with him in this episode, but we didn't. I mean, I know he was like ignoring it. I feel like if it was me and like I would have been like, you should have defended me. But like I get where he was coming from.
I really like that they show, because you and I are these characters. You are Sky and I am Nia, because we have very different reactions to specifically internet hate, right? Where you're like, we should be defending ourselves and we should do this, and I'm like, just ignore it. They're just like jerks on the internet projecting some weird insecurity that they have.
Well, I actually never say we should defend ourselves,
but it's one of those things where they had two different reactions, and they're two different reactions that I think everyone has. And I also was nervous that I was like, Noah's not standing up for him, like he's not. But then he has that whole scene in the basketball court, which we love a basketball.
Love a basketball court.
Love a basketball thing.
I mean, yeah, if you're a Let's Talk BL listener, you know.
I mean, my love of basketball started in High School Musical, so this feels like it's just continuing on through. But when he did that, I was like, yes. I thought that was a great way for him to show his support to his boyfriend and stand up to the situation in a different way that is how Sky handled it.
Right. I mean, like I said, I can see where he's coming from. I do think that like another part of it though is like how would your the person that it's affecting want to be? And I feel like Toe probably wanted it / needed that like
I forget. I feel like they address that. I feel like they address that because because Zhao and Toe handle that hate differently. Oh, they do address it because Toe goes to Zhao and he's like, "How do you feel about everything that's going on?" And Zhao is like, "You're handling it way better than I am." And Toe says, "I just think I've also said bad things to people, and I just think we're even." Because he was able to process it himself. He didn't really need someone to defend him or to like really stand up for him. Like, and that's the thing is like he never needed someone to tell him to stop hoarding. He never needed someone to like tell him.
But someone should have.
He was never going to be responsive to somebody telling him what to do, because he was already too far gone, right? Like he needed someone to just love and embrace who he was, and then he could kind of ground himself, which is why Nia was a perfect match for him, because he grounded him throughout this entire series. He never wanted to change him, but he kind of like pulls him back to reality, right? When he like creates that whole room for him, he's like, we can still have this in a warehouse far away from where we're living, you know? Like it's such a nice perspective on everybody can be who they are, even in the context of falling in love and in a relationship. It's that you kind of both find your middle ground, right? Of like, I love you, and I know that like maybe these things about myself need to be like pulled in a little bit. And like, you know, I like the way that they developed the whole garbage of it all and the like stalker of it all, where he's like, I want you to know that like now the feeling's mutual and it's not a secret crush.
Right, it's
and,
not
like,
a secret crush.
We're on the
like each
same
other.
Page.
Yeah.
So then our photos should be on the wall together.
Right. It's very cute.
Oh.
And so also upon rewatch, here's the thing. I still am not like a Toe Nua fan.
No, yeah.
But upon rewatch, it hit me. I was like, here's the thing. The more I watch this, the more I realize that Toe is just like, he is the personification, the real life of all of these things that we say, right? Yeah. So if all of the crazy things that we say about these boys that we think are so cute, if we did that in real life, Toe does them in real life.
On
right?
a like daily basis, we say something completely psychotic about so many boys.
So many. Like it's become a joke among our like BL friends, is because I have this like joke where I say like, oh, he could throw hot garbage juice on me.
Yes.
And like I'm realizing as I'm rewatching the show, I'm like, oh, like Toe would live for it if Nia threw hot garbage juice on him, because he would just like take the clothes off and he would save the clothes and he would like wipe it off and save the napkins and he would say thank you. Yeah. And so like all of the crazy, now in practice, if somebody threw hot garbage juice on me, I for sure would like not be pleased.
But if it was
I'd
thank you for looking at me.
Thank you.
You know, the fact that you threw hot garbage on me means you know I exist, and that's where we are in life.
But no. So Toe, just like the more I'm watching it, the more I'm like, okay, this boy is all of the things that we say. Yeah. I mean, you too. You have said some psycho things. Yeah. Like, and everybody, like all of us in the like fan community have said just like the stupidest things.
There was a meme that was going, or a meme, I don't even know what you would call it. It's a tweet, I guess, that somebody was like, this show took all of the things that like the fans have said and done and made them into like real people.
Right. And I realized I was like, this is an example of why you don't actually behave that way. I was like, what this show is doing is showing fans don't behave this way.
You can think it.
You can think it, you can joke about it because it's funny, right? Like me saying somebody can throw hot garbage juice on me, obviously a joke.
You could keep like a photo card.
Right, like you can say it. You can like like
put the cutest boy in Thailand on your phone.
Play this game.
Yeah.
But like you don't listen, I'm telling you, if when I go to the Philippines for Raikan FanCon, which by the way, 2 of the actors in this show will be at Raikan FanCon.
And one of my favorites we will talk about.
So if you are able to go, you don't have tickets, keep an eye on Raikan Tapani Philippines socials. They'll be announcing how to buy tickets soon. You can also enter our current giveaway to win a live stream pass to watch a concert.
Yes.
Anyways, when I get to the Philippines, if I see Sia throw some oranges in the garbage, I'm not going to go get the oranges because as we've established, garbage oranges are not okay.
I won't either. But I might. I don't know.
Are you trying to come up with something reasonable that Toe ever did? Because I'm telling you right now, there's nothing. Like, there's not a reasonable thing this boy did.
Oh, I thought it was sweet when he was going to give him flowers, I think, and he tore off part of the
petal,
the page or something. Like, there was a note that went with it or something. I feel like paper, like that's something that we've all done. I was telling you a story about how I kept.
Oh, that was gross. You're
disgusting. It might have been middle school, actually.
Okay, are you gonna tell the story? Because I really want. If you're listening, tell me if you're also as repulsed as I am by this.
I'll tell part of the story, but we used to share gum all the time in high school and in middle school.
Like someone would chew it and then someone would continue chewing it.
And so if a cute boy gave you gum from his mouth, I mean, if you're tongue kissing boys, like what's the difference? Nothing. You've never shared a toothbrush with anyone?
Not on purpose.
There you go. Anyways,
not on purpose.
Pre-COVID times, back in my middle school days, this really cute boy that I was like in love with, he was like 3 or 4 years older. Like it was an older boy, and he gave me his gum, and I chewed it, and I like kept it. I had it in a diary. It had saran wrap on top of it. And so that's as close as I can get to Nia or to Toe.
If someone gave me their garbage out of their mouth, I would be offended.
After somebody? It's similar.
It's not similar. A piece of gum is I really need can everybody can you please go in the comments?
Shared food?
And no, it's not about sharing food. Gum, chewing gum. It's the chewing gum of it that is repulsive to me.
It's a thing.
It's not a thing. It's not a thing you do.
Listen, I wipe children's nose with my hands, so at this point, like gum.
But so then, do you lick it? Like
no.
So like I don't understand how that's in any way similar.
But in Toe's defense is that like the cute boy that you're like hard eyes for, you're not seeing straight. You're like doing crazy things like keeping trash.
I guess the closest I ever did is. I feel like I've talked about this before. I used to have a soccer podcast.
Okay, why are you yelling at me? Because we had this whole discussion. There was this clip of and Nun eating ice cream after each other. And
I told you gum and eating after someone is 2 very different things.
Because after 1 or 2 chews, it's gone. Like their spit is gone. You've ingested it. So anyways, Nun took a bite of this ice cream and left that like little sliver on the spoon. And then
it wasn't a little sliver. He had gotten like far too much ice cream on the spoon, and he ate some of it.
No, he gave it to ate most of it, and there was a sliver left.
It was more than a sliver.
No. Well,
we're gonna find the video. And
Nun ate the rest of it, and I was like, "Ew!" And you were like, "You wouldn't eat my ice cream spoon after that?" No, there was nothing.
I feel like sharing food is far different than chewing someone's used chewing gum. Like, there's just something different about it.
Anyways, I had
a soccer podcast. Back in the day when podcasts like first started, my friend and I had a soccer podcast.
Back in the day.
Yes. And
what, like 5 BK?
No, actually I'm not that old. I was a child.
You were
I was a child.
Anyways.
So I was very into soccer, whatever, super involved with like my local professional soccer team.
Mhm.
And I had a real big crush on the goalkeeper. We had the same birthday even. It was a whole
Cute.
thing. And they used to do this thing called Dynamo Awards.
Yep.
No, this wasn't even at Dynamo. I did go to Dynamo Awards every year, but this wasn't at Dynamo Awards. They had this thing where it was like, it was for Dynamo charities, and I forget which is like obviously the team's charity arm, and I forget what it was called, but basically you got to go just like have dinner with the team essentially. And this one year they did it like picnic style because they had just opened their new stadium. And my friend and I went to this dinner, right? Because we got invited, whatever. We went to the dinner, and it's like buffet style, and there's like picnic tables all around the stadium. And so we went and we sit at this picnic table. It's empty, whatever. The players are all milling around. We're like, this is cool. This is fun, whatever. And this goalkeeper that I had this like stupid crush on, like stupid crush on this player. He walks, and he knew exactly who we were.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he knew exactly who I was. And he walks up and he sits down at our table and he's like, "Can I sit with you guys?" And I mean, fully, I was still a teenager at this
If you
point.
were Toe, you'd be like, I can use his napkin. I can get his
No.
silverware.
It's actually pretty toe level. It's
Okay.
pretty toe level.
I love that.
So he sits at our he's like, "Can I sit with you guys?" Like fully knowing he can sit with us. And so he sits down with us, and he like, there are these little vases of flowers on the table, but they're like cheap wildflowers, right? Because the idea is it's like a picnic, right? It's supposed to be like rustic, right?
Yeah.
They're not like nice flowers. And so whatever, he sits with us, he eats with us, we're chatting. I mean, we had like a good relationship with him, besides that I had this crazy crush on him, but like we were similar, we were close in age. He's older than me, but like we were close in age.
Yeah.
And it's time to leave. Okay. It's time to leave. The dinner is over. Players have to go like do some presentation thing, whatever. And so he, and mind you, I have never watched Bachelorette in my life, or The Bachelor. I was just never one of those girls. Like, not my jam.
Yeah.
He takes this flower out of this vase. And again, these are cheap flowers. Like, these are not nice flowers. Takes this flower out of this vase.
Do you still have these flowers?
And he hands it to me. Specifically to me. He hands it to me. And he goes, "Will you accept this rose?"
Obviously.
As someone that has never watched a Bachelor or Bachelorette, I still understood exactly what was going on, right?
Yeah.
And I did handle myself pretty well. I think my friend would like vouch for me that like I was chill about it. Like, I was cool.
Unlike when you look at us, yeah.
Oh yeah, all bets are off.
Yeah.
And I take it, and literally on the way home, I make my friend drive because I'm like, I'm not willing to set the flower down because I'm so concerned that it's gonna break or it's gonna die or it's gonna get smushed. Right. So like, I'm holding it like a fragile, like a crystal flower
on like a pillow.
I'm like holding the stem like so delicately, and I'm like holding it out from myself like it's gonna spill or something. And I kept it, and I managed to keep it alive. I literally went and bought like plant food. And I kept this flower alive in water far longer than any other grocery store carnation has ever been kept alive. Like, I was like a miracle worker. I was Mother Teresa to this flower. Every day I would change the water and the plant food. I kept this thing alive for months.
You didn't plant it?
No, because it was a cut carnation. I looked up, like, can I replant it? No, you can't.
Yeah.
And so I truly, like, you
should have pressed it.
Mother Teresa's flower. Well, I wanted it to be alive because it was like, it was pretty and it was pink and it was like, he gave it to me.
Representing your love or something.
Yes, me and Tyler's love.
Was this the Beauty and the Beast flower? Like, was
basically,
the last petal flower?
Basically, I kept this thing alive truly for months. And then it finally started drying out despite all of my water and plant food. And I was like, okay. And so I poured out the water and I let it dry, like set it in the sun and I let it dry. And this dried flower, a single carnation, and like a carnation is not a nice flower. No. So like
my birth month flower, but yeah.
You could see it on my shelf for like
years
until I moved fully.
That's pretty amazing. I feel like
That's my toe story.
So we all have that thing
Yeah.
that can be seen as quote unquote crazy to someone who's not in the like love bubble that you're in with this person. And that's what I love about Noah's character is at no point did I feel like he ever minimized Toe's love. He never judged him for his situation. Like even that moment where it's revealed that he has all the all the photos and where he has all the stuff that he's kept, like in that moment Toe is like, oh gosh, I'm never gonna live up to the standard that you've made of me in your head. I just hope that one day, like he was telling him, like, you're making me insecure because you are always talking about how these are memories of us. Like, we're still presently in this relationship.
Right.
And I want you to understand that, like, this is making me insecure because I want us to have a future and you're just hanging on to the past and you're not staying in the present. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I liked the character development of their relationship. Like I never felt like Toe had a little bit of character development where he kind of became more like grounded and a little less cringy. I feel like Nia stayed the same throughout the entire show.
Yeah. So that's what I feel was really nice about Nia is that, like, again, if this is an example of like, don't behave this way, right? Like, you can make all these jokes, but like, don't behave this way. If Toe was the example of that, Nia was the example because Nia had a crush on him the whole time too, right? When that's revealed, the Van Gogh thing. Nia was
I love
the
that
example.
we've all done that where we're like, we give a nickname to the boy we like. We've all done that. We might still do
that. 3 guesses in the comments, and I guarantee you're all gonna get them wrong because actually the secret is very safe. Like, we've been real good on this one. Hundo P. No one will ever know. Never. One person might know because you kept using it with them when we talked to them the other day, and I was like, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth now. Nia, though, was an example of like how to behave, right? Was like when you have a crush on someone and you like give them little nicknames and you like, you know, kind of like play these little cat and mouse games with them. All of those are things that we joke about doing, but those are like, he handles it the right way. Right. And so, like, if Toe is the example of like, don't behave this way, Nia is the example of do behave this way.
Right.
And I really like that. Also, again, the more I rewatch the show, the more relatable Toe is. Because, like, truly, at one point I was like, if Billy were doing all this stuff to me, I also would need medical attention at any given point. Like, when he takes off his shirt and he literally faints and has a nosebleed, I feel that.
Yeah, Billy is dreamy. I also like how this show has every issue that every person has ever faced almost, because like you have like when they do that whole conflict of when somebody posts bad photos of them online and they're making fun of Toe for being ugly, they're making fun of Zhao for being fat, and they're saying all these things, and then you of course have Daisy who's really struggling with her gender identity. You have all these different types of things. What I love is that like no one's struggling with their sexuality. Everyone's fully embraced the gay.
Everyone knows like, what they like.
They're like, it's cool. And I love that. I thought it was really beautiful just kind of how they addressed every single insecurity that a person can have.
Right.
In the most genuine way. And you feel so seen when you watch this show. Because I truly Sky Zhao, just like that
Sky Zhao.
That scene with Sky's friends, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this group of friends is the worst. And they're just like so just rude to him. And Sky's like, no, like he's very adamant about like who like what he believes in. He's like, I'm genuine about this situation and I have been genuine really since the first day. Like he again has not fluctuated.
Right.
Nia and Sky are like
solid.
The dynamic duo. Like those boys are truly like the best two boys. They are now one of the best BL boys up there with Leon and
Nick. Nick is the best boy in BL.
We need-
I maintain that Nick is the best boy in BL.
We need like a
chart.
like a hall of fame.
Yes.
A BL boy
Hall of Fame.
Done. We're making it. We're making another poster. Let me go get some scissors. Poster board. I would say Neon Sky
Yeah.
at no point faltered.
Yeah.
Sky.
Sky.
As soon as, okay, so this is what happens whenever I watch a show. As soon as I finish watching a show, either I watch behind the scenes or I watch variety show appearances. I immediately looked for every Hang surprise content I could find.
Yeah, I love Surprise. I do love Hang. He reminds me so much of Gunsmile.
Yeah.
But for me, it's Surprise. I love Zhao because, like, I very much struggle with a lot of the same things that Zhao does in the show and kind of like always have. And so, like, I just really like I got him. Yeah.
That scene when they are talking about like that photo being posted online and he's like, you acted like you didn't want to see it, and he was like, it was because people got to see parts of him that like Sky hadn't seen yet. Oh my god, Sky, oh my god, I just will continually go through it. I'm gonna be watching so many Sky Zhao cuts of this show for the rest of my days. Sky. Okay, let's talk about the other boys. The other boy that I swooned over. Anytime this boy came onto my screen, I thought I was gonna lose my mind. For absolutely, I can't tell you why. He reminds me of another boy that I don't actually know and I'm not a fan of. But Touch, whenever that sweet boy showed his face on my screen, I was like, he's special. I know he's special.
He's gonna be in the Philippines.
Yes. And he was introduced in such a sweet way because he wanted to go after Toe. Right? At the camp. And then he very quickly and easily transitions to Daisy. And they have such a sweet story, even if it's a tiny story, which they obviously didn't give enough justice to Daisy's story because she struggles.
She just didn't get enough screen time. Yeah. And with so many characters, I think she never was going to.
No, she would need her own.
Because show. I also would have loved more of Becky and Freen.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, as these characters, because Freen's character in this show, I actually thought was so funny and cute, and I liked so much. And her character in Gap is very different. So, it's a shame that that's all we're gonna get of those characters,
right? And then you have some who you have not a lot of affection for.
I don't. Honestly,
which is ironic because you love the crying in shows, and in this show,
I know.
You were like, I hate all the crying.
I talked about you and I have talked about this. How I was like, it's weird because the crying is usually something I like identify with. Yeah. Like, right? So like the iconic criers are my thing, right? Like Fluke in Until We Meet Again, him crying in the rice aisle. Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah.
In Theory of Love, Gun crying in the shower, but more importantly, Gun crying while he's eating that burrito. I feel that.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, all of the crying and the beautiful criers in BL where they just start crying for no reason. I literally started crying because a boy was too cute on an Instagram story right before we started recording this.
I mean, I regularly cry over Louis.
Like, you can see, or they might have dried by now, but when we first started, you could literally see the tears on my shirt from when a boy was so cute he made me cry. Yeah. So, I get this. But I think what drove me crazy about these friends is that I really felt like they were enabling Toe's behavior. And anytime, and I felt like he kind of was emotionally manipulating them because anytime he would like get even slightly upset, they would all start crying with him. And I was like, why are y'all crying? I was like, your friend can cry and you can be like sympathetic and empathetic.
Pretty codependent group
without all sitting in a group and just sobbing. Like, it annoyed me.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, it annoyed me.
They were definitely, because they had that whole like where three go, all four
go. Yeah.
They were definitely very codependent.
Which is fine. It was just Sam is not my favorite.
We did talk to a listener and friend of the podcast, Renee, who was talking about how sometimes you like want to be there for your friend and you're like a little bit enabling the crazy behavior because like you don't want to leave them alone in the crazy because then it might get too crazy.
Well, and you also don't want to be mean to them and be like, you're being crazy.
Yeah.
No, I get all of that. It's I just felt like she and Sam in particular like went too far with it. And I think
she needed that boy earlier.
Yeah.
Also, I love how they're like, Tor hasn't been here for 2 weeks. As to explain why he's not around. Because then that's also the moment where Sam's like, okay, I'm the single one. I was like, relatable. Feel that.
But yeah, I don't know. I didn't love her whole thing. I thought she was a little obnoxious. Definitely. I mean, I don't hate her, but I don't think she makes the list of like best BL girls.
Yeah. Speaking of BL girls, so proud the ex-girlfriend / like rival love interest, the straight rival love interest.
Yeah.
And her little mean girlfriend, so annoying.
Yeah.
Why
are we still playing this trope in 2022? Why?
No, it's so annoying.
I truly do not know anyone that would actually do this in real life.
No, I can't think of anything either.
No. Because you know how people actually react to these situations? They pull an Imogen from Heartstopper.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they do.
Yes.
They're like, oh, I see what's happened here. Okay.
And a girl from another show we just recently watched where she's like, you never really liked me. You were holding on to this boy that you've known all your life. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. The show we recently watched.
Okay. Honorable mention. We have 2 honorable mentions. The first, the most honorable mention.
The most honorable.
Saint.
Yes. My favorite thing about Saint is he knows exactly when to come into this show because he's like, things are getting a little too cringe or a little too, like, this could be too much. So I'm going to insert myself as a cameo.
He's like, remember I made this.
He's like, don't forget that I made this, so you have to support me.
Yes, 100%. Because when we first started hearing about this show, 100% before we started watching it, we were like, people are only watching for Saint. Yeah, the Saint of it all.
And a lot of people said that. A lot of people were
Valid.
like, yeah, I need to support Saint. And we were like, I feel you on that.
I will watch and have watched everything that Saint has been in. Even his Ghost show on Netflix. It's really good.
I think that Saint, and I want to support all of the things that he makes, but
love him.
He's smart cookie. He knew when he literally he needed his face to come in and save things.
It's a handsome face.
He's just so sweet.
I mean, he's busy hosting T-pop stage, so like he could only fit in those 2 cameos, but like they were epic.
And he's also just so sweet and so earnest, and he works so hard. And
okay, the other honorable mention.
Yes.
A boy that I have loved since I first laid eyes on him.
It's true, you have.
And Why Destiny. I've been screaming about first. He was our very first.
Why Destiny first?
P-Stuff boy.
Yes, he was our first P-Stuff boy. We've now collected all 3 P-Stuff boys.
We have filled our P-Stuff cards.
If you don't know who P-Stuff is, P-Stuff is an
them.
artist management company.
P-S-T-U-F-E.
We could be pronouncing it wrong. Full disclosure.
Accurate.
P-Stoof? Stoof.
Mommy Poopin, tell us how to pronounce your company name.
Anyways, it began with first. You collected first. You loved him. You would not shut up about him. This is true. I can vouch for that. We then collectively collected
Found
Sia.
And then
Mark Poom. Mark Poom literally changed my life.
Poom.
Mark Poom in that red tracksuit literally changed my life.
I also like Mark Poom. I just love first.
And I just love Mark Poom.
Yes. So first shows up as Kong, which at first you're like, oh, he is trying to be Toe, but also maybe he likes Toe. You're like, what's happening here? And then in a crazy turn of events, it turns out he's trying to get Nia to like pay attention to him, and he's trying to just like be a copy of Toe so that
because he's like he likes Toe, and so therefore right.
He was a fun. He was a fun conflict. This is how you do conflict in BLs at the 9th hour. You throw in a stupid little character who like makes some silly conflict, but no actual
conflict, right?
And then
We're
you can
not
have,
having like a villain origin story like we had in a
No.
show we recently watched.
Exactly. You just have a silly little cute cameo by truly the sweetest, fanciest boy, and then he trots off into the sunset, and then these two boys trot off into the sunset,
And then everybody trots into the sunset. We're all on ponies.
I mean, the horse noises in this show.
Lord.
This show was good.
This was a good show, despite all warning, which again, I feel like wasn't even my fault, because all people said to me is it's so cringy, it's so
Nobody
cringy.
said-
I don't know why I'm watching
This is the thing, is nobody was like, don't watch it. Everybody was like, you should watch it.
Just understand it sucks.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to tell someone. Right. So I'm not going to tell you it sucks. If you have listened to this because you're trying to decide whether or not you want to watch it, this is a good show. It's not that cringy.
It has heart. It has story. It has relatability.
It's cute. It's funny. It's got comedy.
Boys.
It has all of the tropes that you want out of like a classic BL. If you want that nostalgia of like a classic like BL trope,
it really did.
This is your show. It's not that cringy, you guys. Why?
It really reminded me of Lovely Writer.
It's really not that cringy. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was so cringy. I don't know why I watched it. Or here's the other one I got a lot. You really have to stick it out through episode 5 or 6. I disagree.
Yeah.
I disagree. It's a good show. It's flat out a good show. You don't have to stick it out. No. You don't have to put work into it. It's fun to watch.
Ugh, I really did like this show.
So that's what I think.
We're not experts to some people. We have merch.
Shop.letstalkbl.com.
Not this merch, but we should add this.
If you are watching this and you see this and you want an actual Let's Talk BL design of this,
let us know.
Tell me.
Amazing. This has been Let's Talk BL. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow all things Let's Talk BL at Let's Talk BL.
See you next time.